Here is my rattlesnake bite recipe. I'm going to have this in a couple of parts. So this is part one, just getting the cheese together. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by grating my Monterey Jack cheese. You definitely want to grate your own cheese. Don't use the bag cheese for this recipe. You won't be able to form the balls. So I'm starting off with one jalapeno pepper that smelled very spicy. So I'm going to go ahead and seed that. And then I'm going to go ahead and give it a rough chop. If you like it spicier, you can definitely add in more of the raw jalapeno, but I'm gonna throw in some of my pickled jalapenos, so gonna give that a rough chop, and then I'm gonna season my cheese. I'm seasoning with some sea salt here. Gonna also use some garlic powder. Now I'm going to throw in some onion powder, and for the last seasoning, I'm going to go ahead and throw in some black pepper. Now you can use whatever seasonings you prefer, whatever you like. Add in those fresh jalapenos. I'm just going to give it a quick toss just to get those jalapenos mixed in throughout that cheese. Now I'm going to get ready to get those pickled jalapenos together and chopped and thrown into the cheese mixture. Once I have that all done, I'm going to go ahead and start forming my balls. I would stick to smaller ones just because when you go to fry it, you don't want them to explode. So you're going to go ahead and just get those all prepared. Place them on a plate or a tray. Put them in the freezer until you're ready to fry. So this is part two of my rattlesnake bites. Going to go ahead and work on my breading station. So initially when you bread something, you need flour, egg wash, and some breadcrumbs, whether it's panko, Italian, plain, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and season my flour and my breadcrumbs. Going to use the same seasonings that I used inside of the rattlesnake bites in the breadcrumbs and in the flour. So now I'm going to work on my egg wash. Going to go ahead and crack an egg, and then you're just going to place some heavy cream or milk or half and half, whatever you have in that egg. So here's the breading station all ready. Like I mentioned in the previous video, you do want these to set up, so definitely keep them in the freezer until you're ready to bread them. So you're going to first start off by rolling them in the flour, and then you're going to go ahead and drop them into the egg wash after you get them coated. You're going to go ahead and mix them around in the egg wash. You always want to try to have one wet hand and one dry hand whenever you're trying to bread something. Once you have it fully covered with the egg mixture, you're going to go ahead and drop it into your breadcrumbs, and then just make sure it's evenly coated. And then what you can do too is at this point, you can also put them back in the freezer while you're waiting for your oil to come up to temp. Stay tuned for part 3 where we fry them. This is the last part of the rattlesnake bites, so there they are. I just took them out the freezer, gonna get ready to fry them. A little trick, if you don't have a thermometer or if you're not using like a deep fryer, in order to tell if your oil's ready, if you put a skewer or a wooden spoon or a chopstick in there and it starts bubbling, you know that that oil is ready. So we're going to go ahead and drop them in a couple at a time just to keep an eye on them. They can go from 0 to 60 in a matter of seconds, so just keep an eye on them. And this is the main reason too why I didn't use my deep fryer, because I didn't want to ruin my oil with the cheese exploding. So you're just going to cook them a couple minutes per side, and then you'll flip them over. If you have deeper oil, you're just going to cook them until they're golden brown. But I only put a couple inches of oil in the pan because I wanted to do it on the stove. So once I start to see the cheese come out and that they're all brown, I'm going to go ahead and remove them from the oil. But this literally takes no time at all to cook up. It's literally a couple minutes per side, maybe not even a couple minutes per side. You just have to keep an eye on them. That's my greatest advice with this. So, but it's so worth it when it's done. So here I am just cooking up the last batch of them, and one did explode on me. They're in the right hand corner, so this is why I didn't want to use my deep fryer. I just wanted to do it on the stovetop. But I did end up saving this oil too. I went ahead and I strained it, so I had this for another use. But this is it. Thanks for watching.